As we all know, the Edge of Fate is less than a week away, and the raid is exactly a week away today. And I think this is a perfect time to have a conversation about an archetype of weapon that I will be taking into the Edge of Fate day one. And I think you guys should consider grabbing at least one or two of these if you want to have a pulse rifle that is going to do serious damage and allow you to build craft at the same time. The heavy burst double fire pulse rifles in Destiny 2 right now are the highest DPS pulse rifles in the game, with a few standouts that I think are going to be super important to have going forward, especially with the way that weapons are being reworked in the Edge of Fate. These pulse rifles come in 5 flavors. There's Corasion, Nullify, Joxer's Longsword, Cruel Mercy, and Aisha's Care. And these 5 come in 5 flavors. There's 2 Arc, 1 Solar, 1 Void, and 1 Strand pulse rifle. And honestly, I think the Void, the Arc, we'll specify which one here in just a moment, and the Strand pulse rifle are 3 that are the standouts here. Corasion out of the group is going to be my favorite. It rolls with Volt Shot and Enlightened Action, and I think that those 2 perks together on this pulse rifle specifically are absolute monsters. So we're going to go over a very brief overview on these pulse rifles and what roles I think would be best to have going into the Edge of Fate. My name is Trey, and if you guys enjoy this video, make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We're on the road to 2,000. We're actually on the road to 5,000 subscribers, but I'll settle for 2,000 for now. And if you found this video informative, and if you liked it, go ahead and hit the like button, because it will share this video around with more people on the algorithm, and it really helps boost the channel. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and dive on in to these pulse rifles and why I think that they are going to be absolutely nutty going into the Edge of Fate. All right, so first things first, the heavy burst pulse rifle archetype. Let's go ahead and talk about this for a second. This states fires a hard-hitting 2-round burst, slightly reduces flinching from incoming fire while aiming. So when you're aiming down sights, the flinch is a little bit less, which is a W for PvP specifically, and can also be a W for PvE, but you PvP players are definitely going to get in on that. So like we said in the intro, first things first, I want to start with Aisha's Care. Aisha's Care is the strand flavor that we have, and let me tell you, this thing is built for PvP. If you guys enjoy running around the Crucible with a pulse rifle, this is definitely going to be a very good companion to those strand builds that you guys are running, especially on Hunters, and I would say Warlocks as well. In perk slot 3, you've got Keep Away, Slice, Zen Moment, To the Pain, Gut Shot Straight, Encore, and Under Pressure. And then in perk slot 4, we've got Hatchling, Collective Action, Desperado, Golden Tricorn, Head Seeker, Kill Clip, and Moving Target. Now me, as a PvE player, I'm definitely going to suggest Slice and Hatchling and Keep Away and Collective Action. Those 2 roles together are absolutely nutty when it comes to PvE, especially when it comes to dealing with higher level enemies. Hatchling is a perfect option for this, and with Slice allowing you to sever just for activating your class ability, Strand Hunters are going to have a field day with this role. Collective Action states that collecting elemental pickups or throwing a Strand Tangle grants a stacking period of increased damage. So if you just generate a Strand Tangle, pick it up, throw it, you're going to get a buff to your damage. Awesome role here. I don't have this role yet. I am still hunting it down, but it is there if you need it. And then for PvP, Zen Moment and Head Seeker. This is a role that I personally have tried in PvP, and it absolutely rips. Head Seeker is going to give you a 20% increase to precision damage when you land 3 body shots. Listen, this is the role for PvP. This is a Trials of Osiris weapon, so you will be getting this from the Trials of Osiris playlist every weekend if you guys want to try to grind for one. I don't think it's going away. It probably will be, I'm not gonna lie, in the Edge of Fate, but there's a good chance that it will come back and you will be able to get it again. And with all of these pulse rifles, we are going to be going over how to acquire these weapons at the end of the little section for each one. So there should be timestamps down below. At the very end of those sections, you should be able to see how you get these weapons. Next up, my favorite option on the entire list here of heavy burst pulse rifles is Corasion, an Arc 324 round per minute pulse rifle that has some absolutely insane rolls available to it. So in perk slot 3, we have Air Trigger, Perfect Float, Pugilist, Eddy Current, Enlightened Action, Perpetual Motion, and High Impact Reserves. In perk slot 4, you have High Ground, Eye of the Storm, Frenzy, Swashbuckler, Volt Shot, One for All, and Focus Fury. And this one does have the origin trait Radial Area Transposer, so when you get a rapid final blow, it causes the target to explode into a pool of radial area fluid. Not really that all flashy, you know, it does what it does. It is what it is, but it is there if you do like that. And for me, the top 3 roles here are going to be Enlightened Action and Volt Shot. Enlightened Action states dealing damage improves reload speed and handling. All you have to do is damage the enemy and you get a bump to your reload speed. It does stack up to 12 times, and when you get all the way up to 12 stacks, it gives you 50 handling and reload speed. So an absolute major W in the stat department, because it does lack on stability and it does lack on handling, but with the right barrel and mag perk, you should be able to get this one topped off. Volt Shot is going to allow you to jolt targets after getting a final blow and reloading, so that is going to be great for ad clear. You know, pulse rifles aren't really the ad clear goats with the exception of Outbreak Perfected, because it's literally the best gun in the game, but Corasion here does make up with it with Volt Shot. Perk suggestion number 2, I'm going to say Eddy Current and Frenzy. Sprinting will grant you a reload speed and handling bump, and while you're amplified, it will increase the effects of those bumps. So when not amplified, you get 20 reload speed. When you are amplified, you get 50. So a great option here if you're someone who likes a running gun with this weapon. Because it's a 2-round burst, it does fire a little bit faster. And with Frenzy, being in combat is going to give you a bump to your damage by 15%, as well as 100 handling and 100 reload speed for 7 seconds. Or as long as you're in combat, you will have the Frenzy activated, and then as soon as you leave combat, it'll go away, or it'll go down to the 7-second timer. And for the PvP roll on Corasion, I'm going to say Perpetual Motion and Eye of the Storm, just giving you a little bit extra stability while you're in gunfights and giving you a little bit better reload speed and handling while you are in combat and moving around. The name of this game here is handling and reload speed, and Volt Shot, really, honestly. And Frenzy, Eye of the Storm, you could run Focus Fury as, you know, a kind of a backup, but Perpetual Motion, Eye of the Storm. Listen, Corasion is one of my all-time favorite weapons in this game, and I have been using it a lot more. I was kind of like using shotguns and area denial frame grenade launchers for a while, but I'm kind of getting back into my pulse rifle kick, and this is definitely the first one I picked up. The way you acquire this is through the Episode Echoes activities. So the Battlegrounds Echoes activity and the Battlegrounds Echoes Expert activity is where you'll have this weapon drop to you. You can also focus them if you do have the engrams at failsafe on the helm, so that is another source to get this weapon. Next up on the list here, arguably the hardest weapon to acquire on this list is Nullify, a solar heavy burst pulse rifle that has some pretty nutty perk options on it, and it is the only solar heavy burst pulse rifle in the entire game, so this is the only one that you will have available to you. In perk slot 3, we have Firefly, Under Over, Demolitionist, Subsistence, 4 times the charm, Heal Clip, and Rapid Hit. And in perk slot 4, we have Desperate Measures, Vorpal Weapon, Adrenaline Junkie, Multi-Kill Clip, Attrition Orbs, Chaos Reshaped, and Incandescent. There are some very, very, very solid rolls on this pulse rifle, some that are going to be slept on more than others, but this weapon is also craftable. So if you want to have more than one with a couple of different rolls, figure out which one you like the most and delete the rest, that is definitely available to you. Perk suggestion number 1, I'm going to say Firefly and Chaos Reshaped. Chaos Reshaped states, this weapon gains bonus damage while in combat for an extended time. Remaining in combat for even longer rewards a larger damage bonus and periodically heals the wielder. So it's basically like Frenzy, but getting healed at the same time that you're getting your damage buff. Absolutely incredible. And Firefly is going to allow you to keep ads kind of at bay. You could also swap that out for Subsistence in this, just to kind of keep yourself in the fight a little bit longer, but I personally think Firefly is the better choice here. The best perk option available on this pulse rifle period is going to be Heal Clip and Incandescent. Reloading after defeating a target will grant you Cure ×2 and your allies Cure ×3, which is an absolute banger of a perk any situation. Heal Clip, if you can get it on a weapon, that's the number 1 choice there. And Incandescent, defeating a target spreads Scorch to nearby enemies until they ignite, and you can double trigger that. So if you blow up an enemy and it passes on Scorch to another enemy nearby, and that extra stack of Scorch ignites that enemy, it will pass it on. This is such a super dope perk. I love Incandescent. I use it on pretty much every solar weapon that it's available on. No brainer here. And then for PvP, I'm gonna say Demolitionist and Desperate Measures. Desperate Measures is one of those perks that no matter what, it will always perform for you, because all you need to do is get a kill for bonus damage, and if you use a melee or a grenade, it will grant you an increased benefit on that damage bump. Great option here. And Demolitionist, obviously being able to reload just by throwing your grenade and getting grenade energy back when you do land a final blow, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Nullify, like I said at the beginning of this section here, is probably going to be the hardest one to get, because you do need to do the Salvation's Edge raid, and that is the only way that you're going to be able to acquire this weapon. You should go run that raid at least 2 or 3 times before the Edge of Fate launches, just because this is such a solid weapon. You can get it later, but I don't think it will be beneficial to have this one. If you can grab one of the other ones and take its place for now, you should be farming for this weapon, period. Next up, we have our second ARC flavor of the day, the Cruel Mercy ARC Heavy Burst Pulse Rifle. In perk slot 3, we've got Eddy Current, Dragonfly, Demolitionist, Keep Away, Lone Wolf, and 4 times a charm. In perk slot 4, we've got Desperado, Rolling Storm, Adrenaline Junkie, Frenzy, Head Seeker, and Kill Clip. Another PvE battler here. This weapon, personally for me, is the best PvP option if you are looking for a double burst. Aisha's care is solid, dude. It is so good in PvP, especially in your 1v1s. But for me, the perk selection here is going to be what makes this weapon shine. Keep Away and Kill Clip, Keep Away and Head Seeker are 2 very, very, very solid rolls on this weapon. And if you're really that guy, Lone Wolf Head Seeker is another fantastic option. But for my perk selections here, I'm going to go Eddy Current Rolling Storm. Being able to reload faster and grant yourself Bolt Charge just for getting final blows. And if you are amplified, you'll get 2 stacks instead of 1 with Rolling Storm. Very, very solid choice. Second up, I want to do Dragonfly and Frenzy. These 2 perks together, no matter what, are going to be a very, very solid option. If you're feeling real spicy, you could do Eddy Current and Frenzy just to get yourself some more reloads while you're in combat. Dragonfly is a solid choice here. And then for me personally, my PvP, this is just from a fun standpoint. Let's just start there. This is just from me having straight up fun with this weapon. I will say Lone Wolf and Desperado are phenomenal together in PvP. If you just stand in the back or stand kind of like, if you want to like take another route to get to the flag and control, or if you're flanking in trials or whatever, being by yourself and getting that increase to your rate of fire once you land a final blow, easy peasy, dude. I love this roll so much, and I just had a blast using it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments on what rolls you're looking for on all of these pulse rifles. I would love to have a conversation about it. And before we get into this last one, I do want to remind you guys that we are going to be streaming the Edge of Fate week 1 pretty much every single day that week. There will be a couple days where I do have to stream a little bit later, and with a trip that I'm taking coming up, I might not be able to post as much. So if you want to lock it in now, go ahead and get subscribed. Hit that like button to boost me in the algorithm so that you see more of my content as well, because the more you like, the more it shows you, right? So with all that being said, let's go ahead and hop onto our last option here, which for me as a Void Hunter main is the GOAT in terms of just like build synergy here. Joxer's Longsword is a Void flavor in the Heavy Burst Pulse Rifle category. And I will say there are so many perks in perk slot 3 and 4 that it's kind of mind boggling. So let's go over them really quick. Perk slot 3, we've got Demolitionist, Dragonfly, Pugilist, Rewind Rounds, Repulsor Brace, Shoot to Loot, Gut Shot Straight, Lone Wolf, Enlightened Action, Closing Time, Killing Wind, and Strategist. And in perk slot 4, we've got Desperate Measures, Adrenaline Junkie, Destabilizing Rounds, Withering Gaze, One for All, Swashbuckler, Demoralize, Head Seeker, Zen Moment, Desperado, High Impact Reserves, and Under Pressure. Holy smokes, there are so many perk options here that it was really hard for me to narrow down one, but I do think that I came up with 3 that are like, one is obvious, the other one is like, okay, I can see it, and then the other one is really, really good for PvP. So first roll suggestion I'm gonna say is Repulsor Brace and Destabilizing Rounds. If it's a Void weapon and it can roll with these 2 perks, that just makes the most sense, right? Repulsor Brace is gonna give you that overshield for 5 seconds, and you are also going to apply volatile rounds for getting final blows with this weapon that will spread to nearby enemies as well. Perk suggestion number 2, I'm gonna say Dragonfly and Demoralize. Demoralize is a fantastic perk that I feel like is slept on a lot. It states precision final blows cause nearby targets to become weakened. Weakened is an absolute W debuff on any Void subclass, any Void weapon. It really doesn't matter. I think that Demoralize is a very solid option. Withering Gaze is cool, but I don't like having to wait for the perk to proc and aim down sights because 1, I'm staying out of the fight. 2, I like to play aggressive, so I want to be in and out, right? And 3, it's not that rewarding. It applies it to the one enemy. It can weaken targets in a radius, but at the same time, Demoralize is doing the same thing, or you could use it to pinpoint one chunky enemy and weaken them. So I think that Demoralize is a little bit better than Withering Gaze, but it really depends on the weapon you're using it on. If you get a headshot final blow, it's going to apply that weaken effect to other enemies nearby as well. So that's why I chose that for number 2. And for PvP, for you PvP slayers out there, please try the Enlightened Action and Desperate Measures roll. Enlightened Action, again, dealing damage is going to improve your reload speed and handling. The base magazine here is 24, so that's not a whole lot of shots. I mean, it's a good chunk. It's a good chunk of ammo, but at the same time, if you miss shots, if you have fighting more than one person and you need to reload really quick, all you got to do is deal damage, get that quicker reload, bada boom, bada bang. And then Desperate Measures, final blows are going to grant you that 15% bump in damage, and if you get a grenade or melee kill, that is going to give you an even bigger bump and improve the effect of Desperate Measures. I think super solid option for PvP, and this is not one you're going to want to sleep on. You do get this from the PvP playlist, so just playing comp or playing any of the upper tier PvP modes will grant you this weapon. Go get one, while it's here. And with all that being said, that is all of our heavy burst pulse rifles in Destiny 2 as of right now. There are 5 of them. They come in 5 unique flavors, and it just depends on how you want to play it. Remember, for Nullify, it's the raid one, so you are going to have to work a little bit harder to get that one. But Joxer's Cruel Mercy, that's Crucible and Vanguard. That's all you need to do to get those. Corrasion and Aisha's Care. Yeah, Aisha's Care is tied behind Trials, but hey, if you're willing to play Trials, you don't need to go to the Lighthouse to get it. Just play until you can get one, get a couple engrams, focus it, bada boom, bada bing. And then with Corrasion, all you have to do is do the Echoes Battlegrounds playlist and you will get one, or go focus it at Failsafe to grant yourself some red borders for it. So there you have it. Those are the pulse rifles that I think are going to be absolutely incredible going into the Edge of Fate. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you found it useful or insightful, please go ahead and leave a like, leave a comment down below what your favorite one of these 5 weapons is, and get subscribed because I'm going to be uploading pretty much every day next week. So make sure that you guys are subscribed with your notifications turned on, and let me know, do you guys like the heavy burst pulse rifle category, or are you guys kind of skipping this for something like Outbreak Perfected? And I know I've said Outbreak Perfected like 30 times, but it's the best pulse rifle in the game. So with all that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one.